Hey chocolate lovers, ever caught yourself staring at an M&M wondering how it's made? Well, you're in for a treat. We're about to step into the massive Hackettstown factory where half of America's M&Ms come to life. The air is rich with the scent of cocoa and machines hum in perfect rhythm. From bean to bag, we'll show you every step of the M&M journey. You'll see chocolate rivers, rainbow showers, and machines stamping tiny M's faster than you can blink. Did you know there's a secret behind that little letter? Get ready for a nostalgic trip that'll take you back to childhood snack times. This sugar-coated adventure is about to begin. Ever wonder where that rich, smooth chocolate inside M&Ms comes from? Let's start at the beginning of their journey. Picture cacao farms spread across the globe, from Côte d'Ivoire to Indonesia and beyond. Here, farmers carefully tend to cacao trees under the hot sun, making sure they grow just right. These farmers use special techniques to grow top-quality cacao. When harvest time comes, they pick only the ripest pods by hand. It's a careful process that takes skill and experience. After harvest, the beans ferment for several days. This crucial step gives chocolate its deep, complex flavor. Once fermentation is done, the beans dry in the sun for up to a week. The farmers keep a close eye on them, ensuring even drying without mold. Here's a cool fact. It takes about 400 cacao beans to make just 1 pound of chocolate. That's a tiny fraction of a bean in each M&M. The beans then travel to the M&M factory. This is where the magic happens. First up is roasting, which brings out the best flavor. The factory uses huge roasters that can handle tons of beans at once. The smell is amazing, like the best chocolate aroma you've ever experienced, but way stronger. After roasting, the beans go through cracking and winnowing to separate the shell from the inner nib. These nibs get ground into a thick paste called chocolate liquor. For M&Ms, they mix this liquor with ingredients like cocoa butter, sugar, and milk. Now comes the refining process. The mixture goes through rollers that crush the particles until they're super tiny. This is what gives M&Ms that smooth, melt-in-your-mouth feeling. But we're not done yet. The final step is conching, where the chocolate is stirred and heated for hours or even days. This develops flavor and makes the texture even silkier. The scale of production is mind-blowing. When you think about all the M&Ms made each day, that's a whole lot of cacao. From farms around the world to candy bowls everywhere, it's an amazing journey for these little chocolate treats. Now that we've got our chocolate mixture ready, it's time for the crucial step that creates that iconic melt-in-your-mouth center. The secret lies in a process that's both art and science. Let's talk about those huge melting tanks. This is where things get really interesting. The chocolate mixture goes in, and it's stirred and heated with incredible precision. Temperature is super important here, kind of like baking a souffle. If it's too hot, the chocolate could lose its flavor. Too cool, and it won't be smooth enough. The factory workers are like chocolate scientists, always watching and adjusting to get it just right. What makes M&Ms so special? It's all about the cocoa butter. Think of it as the secret sauce of chocolate. The way it crystallizes is key to getting that smooth texture M&Ms are famous for. It's like how butter makes pastry flaky. Cocoa butter does the same for chocolate, creating that perfect melt-in-your-mouth feeling. The workers control this process carefully to make sure every single M&M has that perfect consistency. Once the chocolate is melted and mixed to perfection, it's time to give it shape. The liquid chocolate gets poured into special molds. These aren't just any molds. They're automatic and super precise. They make sure every single M&M is the exact same shape and size. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. Millions of these little candies, all identical. But we're not done yet. These perfectly shaped chocolate pieces still need their colorful candy shells. That's the next step in the M&M journey. The shells aren't just for looks, they're what keeps the chocolate from melting in your hand. Before we get to the shells though, let's not forget about the roasting and grinding. The cacao beans are roasted at just the right temperature, between 45 to 50 degrees C. This sweet spot is crucial for getting that perfect smoothness and flavor we all love in our M&Ms. After roasting, the beans are ground into a paste and mixed with milk and sugar. This mixture is what will eventually become the heart of each M&M. Ever wondered how M&Ms get that perfect candy shell that keeps them from melting in your hand? Well, you're about to find out. Those chocolate centers we just made are about to go on a wild ride. Let's take a look at the next step in the M&M journey. The chocolate pieces are ready, but they're still missing that iconic crunch. It's time to give them their protective armor, the hard sugar shell that makes M&Ms, well, M&Ms. The process is pretty cool, and it takes way longer than you might expect. Picture giant rotating drums like enormous tumble dryers, but for candy. That's where the magic happens. The chocolate centers get loaded in, and then the fun begins. As the drum spins, imagine a sweet sugar rainstorm inside. A fine mist of sugar syrup sprays onto the chocolates, coating them bit by bit. But here's the thing, it's not a quick process. This sugar spa treatment takes hours. The candies keep tumbling around, getting coat after coat of sugar. Each layer needs time to dry before the next one can be added. This drying step is super important. It makes sure that each layer of sugar sticks properly and crystallizes just right, giving M&Ms that perfect crunch when you bite into them. Now get ready for this. It takes more than 40 layers to create that perfect candy shell. That's right, over 40 separate coats of sugar go onto each little piece of chocolate. Why so many? Well, each thin layer adds strength to the shell, making it more durable and less likely to crack or chip. It's like building a tiny sugar fortress around each chocolate center. The whole process of building the candy shell takes about 2 to 3 hours. That's a lot of tumbling and spraying, but it's what ensures that the sugar shell sticks tightly to the chocolate inside. This careful process is what gives M&Ms their signature texture and prevents them from melting in your hand. Think about it. Each tiny M&M you pop in your mouth has gone through hours of careful coating to get that perfect shell. It's pretty amazing when you consider how many M&Ms this factory churns out every day. Now that our M&Ms have their crunchy sugar shells, it's time to add some personality. Ever wondered how they get those vibrant colors that make your mouth water before you even taste them? Well, get ready to see how these little candies transform from plain to eye-catching. The next stop for our M&Ms is a series of giant rotating drums. These drums are like massive washing machines, but instead of water and detergent, they use food coloring to give each M&M its signature hue. Imagine a rainbow waterfall cascading over the candies as they tumble inside. Let's take a closer look at how this works. The candies roll around inside these drums while special machines spray them with food coloring. These machines are super precise, like a surgeon's scalpel, making sure each tiny candy gets just the right amount of coloring. Think about trying to paint a single grain of rice. That's the level of precision we're talking about here. Each color gets its own drum. There's a separate drum for red, yellow, blue, green, brown, and orange M&Ms. This way, they can make sure each color looks perfect and doesn't mix with the others. It's like having a separate washing machine for each color of your clothes, but way more high-tech. The folks at Mars take food safety really seriously. They follow strict FDA food safety standards to make sure all the coloring techniques they use are completely safe for us to eat, so you can enjoy your colorful M&Ms without any worries. After the M&Ms get their vibrant coats, they're not quite done yet. The next step is all about making them shine. The candies go through a polishing process that adds an extra protective layer. This makes the M&Ms look glossy and perfect. That's the shine you see when you pour them into your hand. It also helps keep them looking good from the time they leave the factory until they reach your snack bowl. This polishing step also makes the M&Ms more durable. That means they're less likely to get scratched or damaged while they're being packaged up and shipped to stores. Pretty smart, right? Here's something that'll blow your mind. These coloring machines are incredibly fast. In just 1 hour, they can process over 100 million M&Ms. That's more M&Ms than you could eat in a lifetime, all getting their colors in less time than it takes to watch a movie. Now that our M&Ms are all shiny and colorful, you might think they're ready to eat. But hold on. There's one last crucial step that gives these candies their unmistakable identity. Can you guess what it is? It's time to add that iconic M to each piece. You're probably wondering how they managed to print on something as small and round as an M&M without smudging or breaking it. Well, let's take a peek at the amazing machine that makes it happen. It's like a mini printing press, but designed especially for candy. The M&Ms go through a special machine that's all about precision. Each little candy gets its own spot on a conveyor belt. This is super important because it keeps them from rolling around during the stamping process. Imagine trying to write on a marble that's constantly moving. Not easy, right? As the M&Ms move along the conveyor, something pretty cool happens. A rubber roller gently presses down on each candy, leaving behind that perfect white M we all know and love. The best part? It does this without cracking the candy shell. Talk about a delicate touch. Now, here's something that'll blow your mind. This stamping process happens incredibly fast. The machine can stamp millions of M&Ms every single hour. That's faster than a hummingbird's wings, which can beat up to 80 times per second. Want to know a fun fact about that little M? The ink they use to print it is actually made from cabbage juice. Yep, you heard that right. Cabbage. But don't worry, you won't taste it. They use this because it's completely safe to eat and dries quickly, which is perfect for the high-speed stamping process. After getting their signature stamp, the M&Ms are ready for packaging. They get mixed together and poured into various sizes of bags and boxes. From small individual packs for a quick snack to large boxes for serious chocolate lovers, there's an M&M package for everyone. The scale of production at this point is mind-boggling. The M&M factory can produce and package millions of candy packs each day. Just think about that for a second. Millions of packs, every single day. It's a testament to how popular these little candies are and how efficient the factory is at making them. Ever wonder how M&Ms manage to be so consistently perfect? Well, it's not by chance. Let's take a look at the careful quality checks that make sure only the best candies end up in your bag. After our M&Ms are colored and stamped, they're not quite ready yet. The factory has more steps to ensure each candy is just right. First, the M&Ms go through a sifting process. This makes sure every single candy is exactly the same size. It's pretty amazing. Millions of M&Ms, all perfectly uniform. The sifting machines shake out any candies that don't measure up. Next, it's safety check time. The M&Ms pass through metal detectors, similar to airport security. But these detectors look for tiny bits of metal that might have gotten into the mix. It's all about keeping things safe and tasty. Now for the high-tech part. The M&Ms face a color sorting challenge. Special machines with color sensors check each candy. If an M&M is the wrong color or didn't get colored right, it's removed from the line. It's like having a super picky robot sorting through millions of candies. There's even a check for that tiny M stamped on each candy. M&Ms without the stamp or with smudged stamps don't make it through. It's about keeping that classic M&M look we all know. With all these checks, you might wonder how many M&Ms actually pass. Get ready for a surprise. It's 99%. Less than 1% of M&Ms don't meet the strict quality standards. It shows how good the factory is at getting things right from the start. These quality checks aren't just for show. The M&M factory follows strict industry standards for candy production. They always make sure to meet or beat the safety and quality rules set by food authorities. So what happens to all those perfect M&Ms that pass? They're off to get packaged. The candies are carefully measured and poured into those familiar bags and boxes we see in stores. Then they're sealed up tight, ready to be shipped out to candy aisles everywhere. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, but doing it millions of times a day. That's how strict the quality control is. M&Ms are more than just candy. They're a global phenomenon enjoyed in over 100 countries. These colorful treats have become part of our lives, evoking memories of movie nights and road trips. It's amazing how a simple candy can hold so much meaning. The M&M factory keeps innovating, focusing on sustainability, and using cutting-edge technology. They're always working on new flavors and varieties. Why not try one out? You might find a new favorite. Next time you're eating M&Ms, think about how they connect us across cultures and generations. What's your earliest M&M memory?